Hello, and thank you for stopping by my channel, my YouTube channel. I am your host for Examination. My name is Dean Divine Eloquence Johnson. You can find me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, IG, Divine Eloquence. That's DevineEloquence. Just a brief introduction. I'm not going to hold you long. I just want to introduce this platform to you. This is a platform that has been something on my heart to create. Um, it's still in its developing stages. So please excuse, I don't have a fancy background. I don't have a production crew. I don't have any of that, whatever. I do envision it going that distance. This is a platform that's dedicated to the understandings, the questionings, the examination of manhood. You know, and the reason why I wanted to develop something like this is because, of course, I've been a man all my life. I came out as such, but there's been aspects of manhood that have been very challenging for me. And I'm not the only one. I've talked to plenty of men throughout my years. I'm almost 50 years old. And in this time, in this half a century of existence, I have come across all types of men with all types of issues for one common issue, and that is just trying to be a man, figuring it out. You know, some of us have not been fathered, some of us have not had the proper guidance. So we come across these situations where, and there are plenty, there's plenty of situations where guys like, I just don't know the answers. I don't know exactly what to do in this moment. You know, I never had a coach or somebody like that to tell me what to do as a man in this situation. And this encompasses everybody. I don't care if you're a CEO. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you're a husband, whether you're single, whether you're a father or not. It's just the issues of manhood. And the truth of the matter is, it's very difficult these days to understand what is manhood. It seems like it's always shifting. It's always shifting. I was born at the beginning of the 70s. So the identity of what made a man then, like a man's man, you had to be tough and full of brawn and bravado and things like, it's not so much the case like that anymore. Man went out and labored hard and came home and gave his wife the bacon, and he goes make the bacon and bring it home to cook it, and all of that is different now. It's just it's it's weird, and you're trying to figure out. We hear all this of manhood is being demasculated, and the emasculation of men, and so nobody knows. It's difficult. It's difficult, and far too many times, the I guess you could say the attribute of man that is to be most understood is that authority and anger. It's like those are the chief assets many times that men are associated with. And many women are plagued with the same complaint, saying, you're not soft enough. You don't understand me. You're too hard. And all of these different things like, oh my God, he doesn't have a clue. He's so insensitive. And you're like, sensitive. And especially if you, a man around my age, we were taught, you don't be showing no emotion. And not to disrespect anybody, but it was like those things to even dare, even like as a kid, don't you let me see you crying. Don't you be showing no tears around here. It's like, okay, so I can't show hurt. All right? I can't show hurt. But if somebody disrespected you, you better get out there and fight. So that was always applauded. Let me go out there and show brawn. Let me show that. That is an acceptable attribute that it seems socially is okay for me to demonstrate. But anything else? Wait a minute. Oh, you all in love? You little sucker. You little sucker for love. You little pussy. Things like that. Like, man, you better go handle that woman. Don't be out here being no softy. What's up, friendly? It's just those things are damaging. You know what I liken it to? It's like being in a house that, like in relationship, you ignoring somebody. That's only going to last but for so long. And it's just like your emotions. You can't hide from them. Sooner or later, you're going to have to confront them. You know, situations are going to eventually box you in where you're going to have to confront that emotion that you were told and many times taught to ignore. And sooner or later, and sometimes when that connection takes place, sometimes it's explosive. So on this platform, I want to create an open forum of dialogue. You know, of course, it got to be all set up where guys can call in. Guys can call in. You can zoom in if you want to, or you can keep it anonymous. You can submit your issue, and when you submit your issue, it will be reviewed, and we can discuss it openly as a brotherhood of men. That's the reason why I named it Exam Man Nation. It's like an I guess you could say a cognitive examination of manhood of men in our nation. And the reason why I say nation is because everywhere culturally and socially has different, I guess you could say, ways, social colloquialisms and sayings and ways and behaviors and stuff like that, traditionalisms. Well, see, here in the States, you know, for this nation, we have a certain way that we are as men. You know, there's not, Germans have their way, Russians have their way, Italians have their way. You know, every culture has its ways. Like just like women, like Italian women are like this, Greek women are like this, African women are like this. You know, it's different. It's differences. So I just want to explore those commonalities with us men here in this nation and just understanding like, hey man, I went through that situation. This is what I did. Hey, you know what? I can learn from that, man. Thanks, man, for that tip. It's like we become a brotherhood and helping one another in this path of manhood. It's not easy. There's some dudes dealing with sexual issues, religious issues, leadership issues, fatherhood issues, husband issues, um, physical issues. You know, let's talk about it. I mean, for real, the same way women can have commercials about, you know, maxi pads and tampons and this, that, and other. Hey, dude, listen, going to the bathroom a whole lot. That prostate ain't holding up the way it used to, huh? You ain't serving the wife the way you used to, huh? Hey, listen, let's talk about it. Things happen. Things happen, and it's like as a man, a lot of times we're taught, "Nah, I ain't gonna talk about that. Nah, I ain't." But you know what? You have to. You have to let it out somehow. That's why now I don't know what the wave is, or whatever, but it seems like people are becoming more conscientious and understanding to the necessity of therapy. Now, I'm not no therapist. I'm no doctor. No, I'm just an average Joe, just like you are, my man. Just like you. I don't have no PhDs. I don't have any, and I'm not here to add. I'm not here to, I guess you could say, give you a prescription or diagnosis. Only thing that we are here to do is execute a dialogue, not diagnosis. I can't tell you what's wrong with you. I can't tell you what the issue is. What I can do is open up a platform that we can engage in a conversation where we could talk about what you feel the issue is or what your missteps are, and other men could join in on the conversation and say, hey, my man, I went through that. This is what I did. Hey, I witnessed my father go through that. I witnessed my granddad go through that. You know what? My son is dealing with that right now. You know what? I'm dealing with that right now. This is what I've done. I went through what you've been through, and this is what I did to get over it. This is what I did to get through it. Now, it's up to you to take those different avenues of approach. It's on you. We all govern our own path. But just having a resource, a wealth of resources that we can just engage in. But it's going to take a few things. It's going to take us being open, welcoming. It's going to take us being honest. It's going to take us being transparent. And again, you can remain anonymous. Once the platform is fully set up, I'll show you how I'll show you how it'll go. And some of you are going to be richly rewarded from this in this process of manhood. Like, you know what? I'm glad I finally got a resource that I can go to. I can keep my anonymity, but I can get some advices on things. You know what? My dad wasn't around. Him and my mother was never together. And now I am a husband and a father as a man, and I'm winging it. Sometimes I want to go into the bathroom and cry. I don't know what to do. Hey, I'm about to get married and I'm shaking in my boots. I don't know. I hope I get this right. I got a baby on the way. I was not prepared for this at all. I don't even know what to do. I got no uncles and some of the dudes that I know, they still out here like big kids. They're not fully grown. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna try to be the best father I can be and hope I get it right. See, so we all are inundated with situations. You know what, man? I got an anger problem. I got a drinking problem. You know, I really want to quit these cigarettes. You know, every time I smoke one, I get this image of my grandfather as he used to light up and roll his little bugles or whatever. We all are inundated with something. My lady, she wants me to feel things that I don't feel. I don't even know how to relate to all that emotional stuff she's talking about, man. As long as I pay the bills around here and, you know, she the only one I'm sleeping with, ain't that enough? Like, man, why is she tripping, man? Talking about she want me to do it. I don't get it. See, we all are dealing with something. I just got laid off. I don't know how to tell my wife. I'm having sexual curiosities that I've been suppressing for a long time. And I'm in a relationship, well, I believe is a healthy relationship with a woman, and I don't know if I want to be anymore. See, we all are dealing with something. Something. And it's like, what do I do? What do I do? So this platform is engaged for that. So let me, real quick, because like I said, this is an introduction. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. You know, I had to do this because this has been something on my heart to do for the longest. And I have stalled. I have been distracted. I have done everything except for what was on my heart to do, and that is create this platform. You know, I don't have a background or anything like that, so it's in development. But so bear with me as you know I get it together. But I just had to start. So let me give you a a moment of my honesty and transparency, something that I've dealt with for years. Um, when I was younger, I remember the first time I had the introduction to this emotion. That I can really say like, yo, I had a problem. I was in the third grade. We were poor. We lived in East New York on Hendrick Street between New Lots and Livonia. The house that we was living in was pretty much just about condemned. It was pretty much a dope house. Now my mother, she wasn't a dope fiend or anything like that. It just said we was on hard times, and that's the only place. It was her father's house, and that's the only place that we could stay. And at that time, my uncle was using it as a dope house, running drugs out of it. You know, all kind. I don't know what kind of drugs. All I know is them fiends used to be outside, sweating in the dead of winter, talking about asking me where my uncle was and stuff like that or whatever. And it was a crazy time. But we used to get teased a lot, my brother and I, because we didn't have the nice clothes and things like that. If I had it on a day, my brother had it on the next day. If he had it on a day, I have it on tomorrow. I mean, and that's how it was. I mean, we used to get teased. And then me, I'm a dark skinned man. So back then, being black was bad enough, but being dark skinned, oh my God, that was the worst. Uh, that was the worst. It was a hard time in the 70s and 80s growing up being black. It just really was. Well, I remember I was being teased in the schoolyard. I went to PS 13 on Pennsylvania Avenue, and I remember a kid. His name was Mike, and I remember Mike. I remember we was just going back and forth, and he just began to say some things about me that at the time it was so true. I had no defense. So it's like he would point out the obvious things. He would point up my nappy hair all wild nappy, you know, crust still in my eyes and stuff like that, because we had no hot water, so everything was cold. So sometimes there ain't no washing the faces, just leaving. It was just a bad time. So what happened? He just kept going and going, and the only thing that I could think of to do, I swung with everything, and I punched him dead in his nose, and blood just splattered. And in that moment, I remember it so clear. In that moment, all the laughing stopped, all the teasing stopped, and I hit him one more time. It was almost like there was so many things going on in my young life at the time that I wasn't permitted to even express. When you're in that situation, when you're poor like that, you hear that, don't be going to the school telling them folks my business. So you're not allowed, when you're not, at that time, I wasn't allowed to express my hurts. You know, we got rats and all kind of stuff like that. I can't let that out. There's no outlet for my frustrations as a kid. And one of the things that seems to be unfair a lot of times that adults do, adults have outlets that they are licensed to do. I'm grown. I'm stressed, I could drink. I'm stressed, I could smoke. I'm stressed, I could sex it away. I'm stressed, I could hang out all night. I'm stressed, so I can do things that supposedly relieve myself, that you as a child in the same environment, in the same stress, are not allowed. You in a house with no heat, no hot water, no lights even. As the adult, you have escapes. As the kid, you don't. And that's the craziest thing. Some adults do this. The child is experiencing the same hardship that they are, but yet they put it on the child to perform in ways that they as an adult can't. We're stressed because there's no food in the house. There's no heat. There's no hot water. Hell, the water barely works. But I, as the adult, I can do things. I can get with my friends. I can go sleep with her. She can go sleep with him. We can do things to kind of give us a temporary relief. But you as a child, you're still going to have to go to school and get all A's. You're still going to have to go and show respects. And not only that, not only do you have to perform still at optimal condition, you don't even get an opportunity to express yourself. If you dare even open up your mouth about what's going on in this house, you're going to get your ass beat. So now, all that pent up frustration in somebody's young life that is not skilled and don't have the tools to understand how to deal with those frustrations, sooner or later, there's going to be a pop. It's just too much being compressed in there. So that day on that schoolyard, that's where I was. I was done. I didn't know it then at the time, but just my human condition said enough. And then when I hit him and splattered his nose and he fell to the ground, and I dropped on one knee and I hit him again, I felt a relief and a peace. Like, this is the answer. And literally, from that moment on, it was on. And I saw, there was no man in my life. My uncle was there, but he wasn't there. There was nothing in my life. There was no male. There was nothing in my life that taught me, or positioned me to have any other, or to entertain any other emotion. As a kid growing up in the city like that, it was, you had to be hard. That was a rough time. and if you were soft, you were over. You were done. So That became my way. I can't do nothing about these clothes that I wear. I can't do nothing about the fact that I sleeping and rats are jumping on us at night. I can't do nothing about that. But the one thing I could do, if you said anything about it, I will wire your mouth up. And that became a problem for me. It did. And on another episode, I'll dive deep into it. But that fellowship with that one chief emotion of anger took me down some roads that really did make a hard way for me throughout my adolescence and in my adulthood. But a large part of it was I didn't know what else to do. My circle of influence instilled that in me. And that became a problem in relationships. That became a problem in job sites, job placement. Because, again, I was in such fellowship with that one emotion and ignored all the rest. That's the only way that I found necessary to express myself. And that became a problem for me. So that's my moment of honesty. That's my transparency. Of course, I got over it. Of course, I did. We'll dive into all of that, how I got over it, how my life changed, different things, different avenues and stuff like that. On this platform, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to be unafraid to tell our truth. There's plenty of people that know me, and they'll tell you, he ain't lying. That boy had a problem. but that's what we're going to do. So I thank y'all for tuning in. Subscribe. There's going to be a lot here. I've poured into a lot of people's dreams and platforms and stuff like that. But now I'm full speed ahead, tunnel vision on something that means a lot to me, because there's a lot of men out there, my brothers. And I don't mean that in an ethnic way. I mean that in a manhood way. My brothers, my males out there. I understand those fights. I'm a man who's been through a lot of things in life, lived a lot of life. In this short time that I've been living, I've lived a lot of life. I mean, my experiences alone probably make me 120. Seriously, I've been through a lot of life. So we're just going to engage. We're just going to engage openly and honestly with transparency. And we're going to benefit from one another's experiences. And we're going to just bond as men in this brotherhood and this fellowship of manhood, and just help one another. All right. So I thank y'all for tuning in. There's more to come. I still don't know how often I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I'm gonna do it 2 or 3 times a week, maybe every day. I don't know if it's gonna become a full-time thing for me. I don't know. I'm developing something. I'm following my heart. I'm following my passions, and I thank you for tuning in. And the next episode, who knows what I'll talk about, but I'm trying to set it up now where I create the platform where you can submit your informations and stuff like that. So look out, subscribe. The platform is going to go through a metamorphosis as it grows. And I just ask you to be patient with me as it comes to its final point of, I guess you could say, launching. Right now, this is a very, 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 very soft opening. I just had to get it out, because if I didn't start now, I probably would keep on just going with the idea and never implementing it. So again, I'm your host, Dean, Divine Eloquence Johnson. Follow me on IG, hit me up on Facebook, and I'm going to start getting more active on Twitter just to bring about awareness. All right? I appreciate you, and we're going to be all right, brothers. All right? I am my brother's keeper. I pray that you keep me too. Peace.